Hello, Graeme.
Hello, Elton.
So, what do you think about San Miguel beer then?
It always reminds me of landing in Mallorca on a really hot summer day, getting over the trauma of flying, booking my stuff into my hotel room or whatever, my mum's apartment as it was at the time, and having a San Miguel, nice and cold.
So you do that after you'd finished all your responsibilities?
I'd bring the cases up and dump them and all this kind of stuff, sit my mum down, get her a gin and tonic.
Did you go there quite often with your parents then?
Yeah, they had a timeshare at Santa Ponza, it was beautiful. Well, it was a block of flats, but it was that sun bleach look about them, you know what I mean? And lizards and cicadas, is it? What do you call those grasshopper things? That buzz all night long when in sunny climates, so you can hear them.
Crickets?
They're similar to crickets. I think they're called cicadas or something. I'm not quite sure. And lizards, you can see lizards climbing up the wall because it's still hot and everything like that. It's great. I've got a real soft spot for Mallorca.
Are you hoping to go back then?
Yes, I'd like to go back very much. And if I had the money, I'd live there.
Okay. Just have a quick advertising break because of Graeme having a drink. You'd recommend San Miguel as a drink, would you?
San Miguel in a carling glass.
Does it taste even better in a carling glass?
No, I can't really tell the difference, just to be honest, but it's nice. It's refreshing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're in the Rawson Spring. It's a pub that used to be a swimming pool.
Yes, I got my. Oh, we'll just show the picture up ahead. I got the 25-yard certificate here.
Yeah, exactly.
There's another one there of the swimming pool.
It's easy to do it when you're running, but not so easy when you're swimming.
No, it was basically a length of the swimming pool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I probably still got the certificate.
I've got my hairdressing certificates.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Well, I mean, good. I mean, it's good to have certificates. Yeah. I mean, it gives people confidence in you if they see a certificate. You know, especially if you're doing brain surgery on them or something.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, hairdressers shouldn't attempt actually.
No.
I know hairdressers sometimes were employed in hospitals to shave people, you know, for operations and that kind of thing, and probably do some minor things like removing teeth and that kind of thing.
I don't know.
Because I always reckoned that the worst hairdressers, they were the ones at the back of the shop. So if somebody wanted something icky doing, like a tooth pulling out, they'd probably let, you know, the person who wasn't so good at shaving or cutting hair doing the things like pulling people's teeth and the other unpleasant things that they used to do for people in hairdressers' shops.
Yeah, in history, yeah, they did all that, didn't they?
Because the thing would be that the person who'd maybe cut people a lot when they were shaving them and everything, they'd be more used to blood. So therefore, when there was something like pulling a tooth out, they'd be more appropriate for doing such tasks as that, really.
Yeah, okay.
And also it meant that the hairdresser didn't cut people's faces when they were shaving. They could be left to get on with the shaving tasks and that they were really good at.
I cut my finger once when I was cutting somebody's hair, but I cut it right in that fleshy bit between two fingers.
Oh.
And the lady whose hair I was doing was elderly and she had very, very grey hair.
Yeah.
And I tried to stem the flow of blood, but I'd obviously caught it big style because it was pouring out of my finger. And
Do you want to hold your hand up and show us
and in
more
the
graphically?
end, it's not there now. It was there.
No, but you just hold it up and point where it was. Yeah.
That little pit there.
Yeah. So.
And in the end, I gave up trying to stem the flow and concentrated on the back of her hair, which she couldn't see, and let the blood flow into the water on her head, which produced many very interesting patterns.
Was there any?
But she didn't know I was doing it, and I sprayed her hair off in the end. And
oh, she didn't have a pink streak at the back.
No. But I do remember that particular thing because my finger kept.
Yeah.
I just couldn't stop the blood. So,
well, the guy.
Blood and me are kindred spirits in a way because of the accidents I used to incur when I was at Roger Sherwood's and things like that. So very accident prone, through nerves probably.
Yeah. Well, I can remember. Well, you could tell us about one of those in a minute, but I just want to tell you about Mr. Stevens, who taught us hairdressing at college, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And he said there was with the hood dryers, they used to be on springs.
Yeah.
So sometimes if they'd loosen the spring off too much, the dryer headed sort of
fall off.
Well, not so much fall off, but spring off and then come back down, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And they're quite heavy things.
That'd be the ones with the glass that you pull down, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And so sometimes when they you know, were near the end of the they weren't pushed far enough in or whatever, they'd spring out.
Yeah.
And he said there was this one particular customer, and she'd got some kind of sebaceous cyst on her head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean by a sebaceous cyst?
Yes.
It's basically, I mean, you might be able to describe it better than me, but it's just like a lump of.
Yeah, that's filled with fluid, isn't it?
Well, I think it's more filled with hair grease, sebum, as it's called, which is slightly solidified.
From the sebaceous glands.
And it would make it so it's filled with hair oil that hasn't been able to escape because a particular follicle was.
I had a client,
filled up.
I had a client who I didn't have a client first and foremost at Sherwood's, but I was very good and perceived as being very good at shampooing. And I remember I had a client once who got all these bumps all over her head. It was a bizarre feeling. It was like when you massage her hair, you bump into a bump all the time.
Yeah.
But despite that, she was very nice.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You know. Sometimes very pleasant people aren't necessarily the most conventional looking people, are they? But to just finish this story off with Mr. Stevens, the top of the hairdryer sprung off, and it came down on this woman's head.
Oh dear.
But it hit her perfectly,
good.
and it took this sebaceous cyst off.
Oh right!
Because
my God, you're joking.
It just knocked it off really, really cleanly.
Oh, and all the blood that flowed.
No, I don't think it was. I think it just like, well, I'll try and simulate a pop, but I don't know whether this made the noise, you know.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Anyway, basically that was a simulated pop.
Yeah.
15 off. Anyway, and basically she was grateful because she didn't have to have an operation. That sounds probably a bit like an old hairdresser's tale, but apparently it was a true story. I was told it by Mr. Stevens.
Right, okay,
Yeah, so it was interesting. So I mean, this might be a good time to ask you if you've got lots of hairdressing experience, but you want to maybe get back into it a little bit more after doing various different other jobs. I mean, you've got a few customers, but you could do with a few more, and you could probably also do with customers to come in who want the hair practicing on,
dressing up and stuff,
especially if they've got long hair and they want it maybe taken into an evening style, or just
have a crack at that.
So basically, if you get in touch with the salon, I'll try and put the telephone number underneath, or we could put your phone number underneath as well,
Okay.
and see if we can get any response really.
Thank you.
And yeah, so you know, because it would be good if more people discover, you know, what a good hairdresser you are. Yeah. I mean, to be honest about you, they'd probably have to allow a bit more time, because you do tend to take your time, and you do a very good job, but you're cautious in your approach, because you and I think a lot of people appreciate that, rather than somebody who wants to do it in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You're probably going to take nearer an hour, and be talking to them a lot, and asking, you know, to make sure that you
and not making prospective employers keen to take me on, because I am too slow and therefore not commercially viable.
Yeah, but that is ridiculous.
That's life.
No, but
it's the way it is. People are there. We live this life to be dog eat dog.
No.
Yeah.
No. I mean, dogs sometimes lick each other's ears to heal their wounds, you know. Yeah. So it's not always dog eating dog. You know, sometimes dog rescue dogs as well. Yeah. So basically, there are lots of people around, I'm sure, who are quite happy to sit down and not be rushed out, because I think a lot of people probably get fed up of having the hair done too quickly and not listened to. So the very thing I can guarantee with you is that you'd listen and do your very best to do something that that they would want, really. And even if it was something slightly unusual, you know, because you can always look at YouTube if it's something that you probably haven't done most things, but there might be an occasional style where you could watch a video and get a bit of extra insight into how it may be done, because that's usually the thing with hairdressing. Sometimes you do face the occasional challenge to your creativity, sort of thing. So you want models for long hair work and cutting hair and probably colouring hair as well. Well, anything basically.
I think we've kind of gone off kilter to what we started with this conversation, haven't we?
Well, you did. You had one talking about going off kilter. You did have at least one Scottish parent, didn't you? Your dear old mum.
Yeah, bless her heart. Yeah.
No. Well, I mean, it's like my mum and dad. I wouldn't have swapped them either. And so I think it's a very wonderful thing to appreciate your parents, and you know, and they might be looking on at you now and
thinking what a disaster.
Eh?
Thinking what a failure.
No, I don't think so. But they'd want to encourage you to be even more successful than you are.
I'd like to be good at it.
Oh, well, good in whatever you choose to do, you know. I mean, you might just choose to be a multi-millionaire and forget hairdressing altogether.
If I was a multi-millionaire, most likely I would forget hairdressing. And
what would you do then? You'd have to do something, wouldn't you?
Well, I'd pack the allotment up,
right,
in Sheffield, or give it to somebody. It's not mine to give, obviously, it's the council's.
Yeah. But let somebody take it over.
Yeah.
Because that's always nice to see somebody take something over that you've started, and rather than just
go to
demolish it,
so to speak. Yeah, I know. That's my big worry about it. If I do leave it, I've spent 10 years or so up there doing that allotment. And, and it's been hard going. And
you ought to maybe do a video up there. Could borrow this camera if you want. Yeah, just to, because you might find somebody else who's interested in, who can't get an allotment at the moment, to be willing to help you a bit.
Apparently there's quite a long waiting list, so But if I was to call it a day, I mean, if I maybe moving to Stocksbridge, I'm thinking to myself that possibly it is going to be a hell of a trek into Sheffield all the time to see to it. You know what I mean?
Well, I see.
And it's not so much. Maybe I'm looking for excuses. I don't know, because maybe I'm getting to the point now where I'm ready to try different things and not just do gardening. I've got this house comes off in Stocksbridge. I've got it's concrete basically at the moment, but there's scope for doing container gardening.
Ah, yeah.
And stuff like that. And I think that might be the way I want to go, because having a full-grown allotment makes you feel obliged to be there all the time, and sometimes you just haven't got the energy to be there. So,
well, I mean, I suppose what you could do is get a neat notice, weatherproof notice, and say, you know, I may at some point want to give this allotment up. Would you be interested in taking it over from me?
Yeah.
And you know, and saying like, I will help you maybe for a couple of months, you know, telling you a bit about it, and you know, and what's where and that kind of thing. You know, so that might be worthwhile of considering.
I have considered that if I go to Stocksbridge, I'll just do containers in my garden, and I will go taking my camera out and about, go for walks.
Yeah.
Coming to Sheffield, get on the bus from the 57 straight there. I mean, I still go for a drink with Gary and everything.
Do they come off in the 57?
Pardon?
Do they come off and do the 57 come off?
I'm not sure exactly what the times are, but I mean.
Well, there's certain buses that drop off at the tram anyway, aren't there?
Yeah, but you can't get a tram from Sheffield to Stocksbridge.
No, but you can get a bus from Stocksbridge to the Middlewood terminus. Anyway, but it might be better to get just a bus all the way. Yeah.
So, yeah, good. Now you can edit some of that now, can't you?
No, I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to put it on like this. I think too much trouble.
No, I think you need to edit it.
Well, you can edit it then.
No, because I don't know how to. So
I'm just going to put the whole thing on, Grass.
No, because it doesn't. It's not good.
Oh, it is good. It's good. It's all been good.
No. Go on, read it back to me.
I can't read it back to you.
Well, play it back to me a little bit. What time you got to be there?
The
7.
What time is it now?
7.
Oh, I better go in a minute.
Yeah.
Right, we'll just do a final. Can your hair see much through those glasses?
My glasses are always very, very filthy. So at the moment you can't see a thing through them.
Yeah. Do you think they're a bit like Harry Potter senior glasses?
There you go.
That's it.
Thanks for talking to me, Elton. I appreciate your time.
Who was that lager drinking Elvis?
I don't know who it was.
Well, it's Graeme Simpson. Anyway, thanks very much.
Thank you.
And do you want to pull a final face? Oh, you are doing.
Cheeky kid.
All right, all the best, Grace.
Goodbye.